What is going on, everybody? David here, and today we're gonna talk Devil Survivor, and that's extremely exciting because I do love my SMT spinoffs, and Devil Survivor is definitely top tier. We all know, I talked about that recently in a news video, which I'll link right here, but the director and game producer Shinjiro Takada at Atlus, developer behind Growlancer Games, Devil Survivor, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions, he's been interviewed before the end of the year, and he says that they're planning to announce new titles in 2021. The first thing that people talked about is, of course, Devil Survivor. Will we get a Devil Survivor 3? And it started a lot of speculations, of course, and that's not surprising at all, because people love those games. So today I want to talk about and think also about the fact that can Devil Survivor 3 really happen at some point? So we're going to speculate and we're going to look at various different factors to answer our question today. So, Devil Survivor 1 came out in 2009 on the Nintendo DS and got re-released as Overclock in 2011. Devil Survivor 2 came out in 2011 and got re-released in 2015 as Record Breaker. This series has been absent for 6 years now already, so it's definitely an interesting time to start and speculate about a sequel in 2021. Devil Survivor, as I mentioned before, is definitely beloved by the fan base, and it's also an SMT spin-off that did extremely well sales-wise. The second game even got an anime, so that says a lot about the success of the game, and I keep hearing people talk about those games frequently in 2021, so they're definitely up there amongst the hearts of SMT fans. To be honest, I don't necessarily want to get your hopes up, because what we got, the base that I'm using to speculate on a Devil Survivor 3 is very, very thin, so we don't have any type of confirmation. We're just speculating here. But I'm gonna be honest before I give my arguments, it makes kind of a lot of sense for us to get a Devil Survivor 3. So let's talk just for a brief moment about the other SMT spin-off series that we have, excluding the Persona games, because they're in a whole nother category in my opinion. I'm gonna say it right away, I think Devil Survivor is the most likely out of all the SMT spin-offs other than Persona to get a new game in the upcoming years. I'm going to talk about Digital Devil Saga, the Raido games, and Devil Survivor really quickly to explain my point. The other games, I know that there's other SMT spin-off, Devil Summoner and stuff, Jack Bros. I keep hearing Jack Bros 3, I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about that because I feel like those are extremely unlikely to happen anytime soon. So let's talk about it real quick. I'm going to start with Raido. Raido Kazunoha, the games, the 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2 are probably the more niche Megaton spin-off titles that were released in the West. They're action RPGs with lots of course, Shin Megami Tensei elements in them, and they're great games, but they're not that popular. They didn't do that well when they released in the West. So I don't necessarily expect a third installment anytime soon. I mean, those games are extremely expensive for a reason. There's not a lot of physical copies out there, so don't see a third game happening anytime soon. Speaking of another SMT spin-off that I don't see in a sequel anytime soon, it is Digital Devil Saga. Digital Devil Saga 3, I'm gonna be honest, it's just not happening. There's no chances. I mean, if you played the games, you do know that a follow-up, a third installment, doesn't make sense. It's not really possible story-wise. The only thing that I could see happening for Digital Devil Saga is a prequel to the first game. I think there's something that they could do here with that, but it doesn't necessarily feel right, so I don't expect it necessarily. Devil Survivor, on the other hand, doesn't have the problem that the Raido games have, since they're the most popular out of the three, and they have a gameplay style that would definitely benefit from a refresh in 2021 if it were to get a new installment. The gameplay style from the Raido games I don't think would be received as well in 2021 as a Devil Survivor, for example, which is a tactical strategy RPG. And on the other end, when we compare Devil Survivor to Digital Devil Saga, Devil Survivor 1 and 2, they have independent stories, which means that a third installment is definitely a possibility. It would be a brand new story, but it would have similar elements gameplay-wise from the first two games, so it would work perfectly fine in that aspect. Another argument that I have to back my point saying that Devil Survivor 3 makes sense is the fact that in recent year, we've seen RPGs having a lot of success. Most importantly, strategy RPG have a lot of success. The first game that comes to mind is none other than Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is of course the Nintendo series strategy RPGs that I definitely love. The Fire Emblem games are amazing. Check them out if you're interested in those type of games, but they are strategy games. Especially Three Houses, it has a massive emphasis on characters and characters development and interactions between your characters. And when I played Three Houses, I kept thinking, man, would a Devil Survivor 3 with this type of gameplay style would be so nice. It would fit perfectly fine in my opinion. I could see Devil Survivor having some type of social links elements. I don't want them to copy the Persona games or anything like that, but there's this type of aspect in Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it works perfectly fine. Both Devil Survivor 1 and 2, they have great characters, and there's a lot of interactions between all of them, between combat and missions, so I do feel like there's something that they could do here. And the combat system is, in both games, a grid-based combat system, so that would be dope. For Devil Survivor, if you don't know, the way that it works is basically you're on a grid, just like in Fire Emblem, and there's a lot of strategy involved with the movement of your characters and who do you want to place where on the battlefield and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that is extremely similar from Fire Emblem to Devil Survivor. The biggest difference when it comes to combat is that in Devil Survivor, once you attack a unit on a battlefield, you enter a similar fight as the standard combat system in most Megaton games. It's basically a mini version of the press turn combat system that you get into once you attack a unit. But you still gotta think about your weaknesses and such, so there's a lot of strategy involved in the Devil Survivor games, and that's why I love them so much. But my point here comparing Fire Emblem Three Houses to Devil Survivor is the fact that Fire Emblem Three Houses broke records when it comes to a strategy RPG. The game came out in summer of 2019, and as of November 2020, we got sales numbers and the game broke 3 million units sold. So that's definitely amazing for this type of genre. Strategy RPGs are not as popular as other type of RPGs, so it is definitely a big milestone, and it gives me a good idea of how a Devil Survivor 3 would be received. And hey, Atlus could pull a Bayonetta situation with us and just port and re-release Devil Survivor 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch, and at the same time announce a Devil Survivor 3. So that would be amazing. So for all the reasons that I mentioned in this video, I do feel like a Devil Survivor 3 makes a lot of sense. Will it happen? Is it likely to happen? I'm not too sure, but it makes a lot of sense. So that's still good news. Was the director and producer Takada hinting at this? Maybe, maybe not, to be perfectly honest, but one thing is clear, it makes sense and it would be amazing. Now those were my arguments and ideas of why I think a Devil Survivor 3 makes a lot of sense to appear in the next few years. If you guys would be interested in a Devil Survivor 3, let me know in the comment section below, and if you have any other ideas why it could happen or couldn't happen, let's talk about it once again down in the comment sections below. As always, if you like the video, a thumbs up helps a lot. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for everything Atlus, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, and other RPGs. Thank you for watching.